I will do. Ring, ring. It's Ross Brawn. He heard my great idea. Ross? Oh, cheers. I'll call him back later. He's a bit needy, Ross.
This is the Fantasy GP Takeover for Miami, where I am once again going to completely hand over my Fantasy GP team to another outsider, who this week is Tommo McCluskey.
Oh, wow. Tomothy's, it's been a while since I've been called that, Stuart. I love it.
I get the respect of your full name. Welcome to the chaos, Tommo. Thanks for finally coming on. It's good to finally chat with you.
It's been a long time coming. I've been a huge fan of what you've been doing for a long time, mate, and it's surreal actually being here. I'm one of your many understudies, and now to be here on the channel is an absolute privilege, mate. Thank you very much.
Well, and likewise, you're quite prolific now upon YouTube, much beloved. I guess there might be some people watching who aren't as familiar with you, and you're a little bit everywhere. You've got a lot of projects on the go, 2 YouTube channels. You're one of those people, podcasts and everything. So if people went searching for you, what kind of stuff would they find?
Okay, so I try and be the voice, not the voice of the people, but the voice of the fan voice is what I try and kind of capture, because, I've watched the sport most of my life and I've always loved it, and I'm not the most technically gifted in terms of that kind of side of things and the knowledge. I'm just speaking as a fan, talking about the sport I love, and talking about it in a way that I think, people, I guess, find the way that I speak about the sport quite accessible. I know a lot of people, watch Drive to Survive, might find my stuff, and then I feel like, in the same way that you're able to really package complex information in a very accessible way, I'm kind of the same, but I'm a bit more kind of slinging it, chucking dodgy opinions out there, just like we all do, just like sat around chatting at the pub. That's the vibe I go for. Just like I'm chatting to my mates about F1 at the pub. Not everyone knows who won a race in 1982. Like, come on, let's just talk about F1. And yeah, it's been all right so far, doing all right, still riding the wave, mate.
It's nice. It's nice to have people like you as you say, as kind of that voice of the fans, because sometimes, I don't know, you may go on places like Twitter and find the fan voice horrifying.
Bit of a skewed fan voice there, yeah, unfortunately.
So sometimes it's nice to have something who's a bit more, wholesome and positive. And
I try my best, mate. I try my best. No one's perfect, but I try my best.
So we're about to go into the 5th race of the season, 4th continent. This is the 2nd race in a row where we're going somewhere that's going to host another race later in the season. I want your fan voice opinion, what you think about countries now taking on multiple races this year, maybe at the expense of some others who always seem to be a little bit precarious these days.
Absolutely, because I think with 23 races on the calendar, and you look at 330 million people in the US. I only know this because I've got a video coming out this week that's on this exact subject. And you look at the diversity across the US, between people in LA are very different to people in New York, who are very different to people in Miami, who are very different to people in Colorado, and it's one of them, isn't it? If the USA was it's the same population, but the country was, say, split into 4 different countries. Okay, I know this is getting a bit apolitical, but just imagine that was the case. Yeah. Would we fundamentally have a problem with there being, 3-4 races, one for each country? Whereas in Europe, we've got kind of 8 races, I think, in Europe that are within a pretty small geographic zone. So I think there's a factor there. Also, I think with time zones, the US particularly West Coast time zone has been chronically underrepresented. Like we're very privileged in the UK that we don't have to get up at the. Yeah, I mean, I felt bad complaining about Australia. Because I was like, actually, I've got it easy compared to most people. So I think fundamentally, I don't have an issue with there being 3 races in F1. I think if I could build my kind of ideal calendar, I would probably have 2, maybe 3 in the US. But I think it is more pressing that we get a race in Africa. We bring some more South Asia races back. There's only one race in South America as well. You've got to bear in mind. So if the sport does truly want to be this global entity and be as kind of inclusive to everyone as possible, I think I would have prioritised that over a third race in the States for sure.
Yeah, and they're in this interesting position as well where they're doing a little bit of reverse how F1 or maybe sports normally work, where instead of chasing where the audience is, they're building races to build the audience upon the races and things. And I think it probably will work. The audience is definitely growing there, the Netflix effect and the Liberty effect. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think America, North and South and Central needs more races, and Europe probably had its fill. And we are moving away from Europe slowly. I think maybe we do need to start doing this rotational thing so everyone can have a little go at it. I don't know.
Yep.
So you're looking forward to Miami? It's interesting from what I've seen. Can I start with the harbour thing, because I think it's very, very funny. I'm not angry about it. I just think it's very, very funny. They made a fake harbour out of blue wood.
I just that's what I mean. It's just fun to laugh at, man. It's just, when we saw those pictures originally, the one you've got on screen right now, it was just like, so what are they gonna crane the yachts in and then build like a big pond for them to sit in, like a little mini lake? And then seeing the real thing, it just brings GTA Vice City vibes straight back. And it's kind of suitable for Miami, you know what I mean? So yeah, look, I think that it's going to offer something different. What I'm interested to see actually as the year goes on, and obviously we get Vegas next year, it's almost like Miami and Vegas are kind of fighting for who can be the US Monaco, I guess, in terms of because they're both going for a seemingly a similar direction in terms of the exuberance and it's expensive But look, I'm all for it. We haven't seen, obviously, the circuit apart from in kind of a set of course of mods. So that's going to be interesting. And look, I'm hopeful. I hope it's a good race. It's kind of a street circuit, but it's kind of a purpose-built circuit as well. I know Will Buxton was having a few fights on Twitter yesterday trying to defend that one. And but yeah, look, I'm open for it. I think it's a part of the world that we haven't had a race in, because it's a long way from Austin. It's not just it's easy to look at a country and think, oh yeah, well, it's easy to look as an English person and think, oh, it's only we can drive to Scotland in like 7 hours. Well, it's like longer than that to drive from between Austin and Miami, a lot longer. So
I'm very willing. I like giving things the benefit of doubt before I get there. I'm not as mad about this layout as some people seem to be, because I think it looks pretty classic as a new circuits go. This whole, 12 to 16 area seems a little bit ropey. I'm getting Catalonia Sector 3 vibes from that. I've got to be honest. It's almost like there's bits of Saudi where you've got the higher speed swoop in with the walls, and then that sector there does look a little bit clumsy. I'm a bit concerned about that, but I think there's a bit of elevation change on that part of the track as well, so that could be fun. Maybe. Yeah, I think it goes over an access road, but also under an access road. So there's like a very, very low bridge. It could be interesting. I read a thing where they had to design it very carefully so they could go over that elevation change without going too fast. So I think it'll be a bit clumsy, but we'll see. I think the rest of the track looks fine, and I'm not too upset about street circuit style tracks if they're good.
I just don't want them to become the dominant style of track, I suppose, because look, we know that F1 is, there's rumours about Spa being dropped. There was rumours about Monaco, even though Monaco's a street circuit. But you got to think, obviously, it's easier to market, it's easier to get the more casual fan base engaged with a street race that isn't, because Silverstone's great, but it's in the middle of bloody nowhere. Like having a track, and that's obviously the route Formula E's going down mostly street circuits, and they've got their own characteristics. I'm all for street races, but I don't want that to become the kind of dominant force. It'd be interesting to see what this feels like, because you've got tracks like Albert Park and Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, which are kind of street but real circuit hybrids as well. So it'd be interesting to see if this kind of feels like that type of track, or does it feel like a Baku, for example?
Yeah, I think the benefit is it's not actually using roads. They've I mean, they've drawn a track in a car park, and that's fine because they've dressed it up with weird shit. Yeah. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be wacky. We'll see. We can judge it once they've raced there, I think.
Exactly.
Okay. So, as usual, before we go into the whole prediction-y thing, I got a couple of emails from people. If you want to write in at home, chainbear@gmail.com. I've sort of picked three, well, can't technically four, but three emails from the bag. One's quick and easy, and then they sort of get progressively a little bit weirder.
That's what I like to hear.
This is like a double email I've packed together about McLaren from Alex and Cinder, I think is how they pronounce their name. So Alex asks, following Lando getting a podium at Imola, does Tommo, that's you, think there'll be more podiums for McLaren? I'm assuming this year rather than ever. And do you think McLaren fixed their brake duct issues in time for Miami, or will they struggle due to the higher air temperatures in Florida? Because they've sort of bounced back, but they did go to like colder, less fast tracks, and maybe, I don't know if you feel that's more McLaren suited and they're going to see them drop back the way they were in the Middle East.
Yeah, look, I thought McLaren were going to struggle at Imola. I even put that opinion on record on Sky Sports, which is a bit cringe, for the Lando to go and get a podium. But I don't know anything. I'm just a fan. So, yeah, I mean, you're right. I think Bahrain was such a weird one. And obviously just coming back off of testing where they had the brake duct issues and lost loads of running. Look, if I trust any team to recover, more so, honestly, than a Mercedes, you look at McLaren's upsurge over recent years, their continued upsurge with Andreas Seidel in charge, who I'm a huge fan of, and I think it seems like they have turned the corner. Also, like Daniel has been driving at a pretty close level to Lando. He's been pretty unlucky. It was his fault for the crash, obviously, with Carlos in Imola as well. So I think you've got two drivers there who I think we're going to see a more consistent, and I think we're going to see those two pushing it close, but also Lando just continues to just reinforce his stock, his stock options in Formula One, because he's just driving on another level. So I definitely think there'll be more McLaren podiums for sure, especially as, again, it only takes, we have only got two top teams at the minute. It's not like in, when we go back to 2019, where you had three teams fight. That's the last time you had three teams on merit really fighting for kind of race wins. So I'm optimistic for McLaren. Obviously, temperature potentially an issue. I guess obviously, it's not just the temperature in Bahrain, but I guess it's maybe the humidity and the sand. You've got all these other factors as well. I don't know if it. Do you think it's an apples to apples comparison, Bahrain and Miami?
I mean, heat-wise, probably. But yeah, again, humidity's very different in Florida. I mean, we're going into a very humid area. And I think also McLaren changed their tune a lot between Australia and Imola. Because after Australia, they were like, we didn't really do anything. We went to Australia and the track suited us more there. And then after Imola, they're like, actually, I think we're doing pretty well. And I'm positive about us. So, and they're being a little candid about what upgrades they are or not bringing. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hope asking you about McLaren isn't just a curse and we should stop doing it.
Well, look, these cars are like, I think quite a good analogy is these cars are like newborn babies. So they're gonna be sick. They're gonna throw their toys out of the pram sometimes. You're gonna learn a lot about them in these early years, and they're gonna change a lot as we go forward. And I think given the difficulty at the start of the year in Bahrain, I think it's super encouraging to see them already seemingly have overcome that to an extent. Obviously, again, we know slow speed corners, that wasn't, I mean, even their last generation car wasn't particularly great in slow speed corners. So there are issues there, but I think, they've got a solid team there. They've got a team that knows how to, a team that's won a race, but also a team that not that long ago was right at the bottom. So it's almost like they've got the full experience throughout the grid. Whereas, again, Mercedes, they've only known what it's been like to win for the last 8 years. So them struggling in the midfield and strategy and pit stops whenever is important for them, because they could rely on the car pace. So there's all these other factors that I think McLaren have got that really well-rounded approach now. and King Seidel in charge. You know, he's my guy. I got to support him.
And actually, I think listening to McLaren as well, you get compared to Mercedes, McLaren seem like, okay, we know what it is, we just need to work on it. Whereas Mercedes are like, we don't know what it is. Like, all they seem to be saying is, we've got a great car hidden under these problems.
We've got a great car in the simulator.
Yeah. Okay, let's go a little bit weird now. This question's from Jack, talking about kind of dream circuits. And he's saying, seeing as we're going to Miami and Las Vegas, there are circuits we haven't seen in F1 before. Where would you like to see F1 go if, you didn't have to think about logistics or even reality? And he's floated things like Targa Florio, which is, hang on, I got a picture, a big road race around Sicily, which is wild, and Bunter Eve, which was the pod racing circuit in Star Wars, which I know there's some Jim Ladd 43. So that would be what that would look like. And also he mentions Rainbow Road and blah, blah. So, it doesn't have to be a fictional circuit, but maybe circuits that F1 wouldn't go to. I got a sort of answer for that, but
Okay, so there's two that immediately come to mind because there's two specific tracks that I love, and I know they're not suitable for F1 for specific sections, and they're Laguna Seca. It's just gravel if you go off, so it's kind of Imola in terms of it'll punish you. But obviously, seeing these porpoising cars going down the corkscrew, I don't know how that would look. I mean, that would be weird. I don't know if that would go too well. Also, Mount Panorama in Australia, I would love to see these huge boat F1 cars with the porpoising trying to come down the hill. I think those two, in terms of real life tracks, maybe they wouldn't work but I'd love to just see like a qualifying session or just a one shot like at Laguna Seca to maybe set the grid for Vegas. I don't know, that could be cool. Outside, I don't know. I mean, I guess what would be fun? Tell you what, actually, Isle of Man TT circuit, that'd be cool.
Oh yeah, that's nice. Just a fun.
That'd be cool.
Cool. It's the only thing I was thinking of, which I've sort of said a couple of times, and I don't think F1 ever do it because I think they wouldn't enjoy the safety of it, is stick them on an oval. I'd love to see F1 cars just do one oval race. If we're going to have like 47 races a year, I'd love to see them have a crack at one.
And Michelin don't supply the tyres anymore, so it'd be fine.
There you go. Oh yeah. Pirellis are notoriously robust. They'd have to bring in oval specials, I think.
Touche.
I think I'd still like to see him have a go at it once a season, maybe, or something like that. Okay.
Well, look, I think with 3 races in the States, and I think, to be honest, I think my ideal, because I like COTA, I've got time for Miami and Vegas to be cool, but I think they kind of both fit the same purpose. And then just make the third one go back to Indy and right some wrongs from the past, because I think Indianapolis, we'd fill that now. It's the biggest sporting venue in the world. 250,000 people you can get in one shot. And I think we'd fill that now in the States and got the oval.
Yep.
Happy days.
Okay, good. Right. You can work on that.
I will do. Ring. It's Ross Brawn. He heard my great idea. Ross? Oh, cheers. I'll call him back later. He's a bit needy, Ross. So.
Fair. He's on the ball, though, isn't he?
He is. He's on it.
Okay. This question might speak to your broader sporting knowledge, which I assume you have. From Elijah. This question really interested me. So with the Miami Grand Prix racing around an NFL stadium and F1's increasing interest in the US market, it made me think about what unique parts of American sports or just team sports in general could work for F1. So what do you think? What kind of aspects could we bring into F1 that would maybe be a positive impact on F1 and which would ruin F1? They're given some examples here. A pre-season draft, which I think would be amazing, personally. I think that would shake things. There are things I haven't really... All-Star Weekend with non-competitive challenges and other festivities. End-of-season knockout tournament to decide WDC. I actually knocked one off the graphic here by accident. But promotion and relegation as well was another thing they added. Yeah, what are your thoughts on this kind of madness.
Because this typically comes up whenever I watch Race of Champions, because there's always this talk of like putting all the drivers in equal machinery, something a bit different to kind of have it as a special championship event that kind of maybe sits alongside. That would be cool. You know what I do like? Is it Indy 500 when they have the milk at the end?
Yeah.
So I would love that when we go to events that there is more of a, because apart from the national anthem, and obviously, yes, sometimes you get like the pre-race kind of events where you'll get choirs or you'll get like local dancers or something like that. But I don't know, just more to kind of embrace or create some kind of tradition, because it feels like the biggest traditions that we see kind of post-race is basically just Daniel Ricciardo shoey. And
yeah,
I think that would be. I'm not sure what they would be though. I'm just trying to think what would be like the post Silverstone tradition, just like a cup OT.
One massive one for the winner, and then
that could be the trophy. That's fantastic. That's a great idea. But I don't know. Yeah, I just think something to kind of embrace the. Because especially as there's talk of, which I think would be great, going back to Kyalami in South Africa, and again like tracks, parts of the world that aren't typically catered for. If we are in 5-10 years time going to be going to a bigger variety of places, it'd be nice if F1 could do more to really showcase and embrace the traditions, obviously without just being stereotypical for no good reason, but the actual genuine traditions and reflecting the country and the people that you're racing amongst. That'd be nice.
Are you saying the different shaped Pirelli hats that we used to do are not what you're talking about?
God, honestly.
What a time to be alive.
Back in the day.
What do you think about a pre-season draft where maybe drivers only get contracted for a season and then Williams get first dibs on bidding for them?
I did. I remember ages ago I did a video, literally doing a draft video and talking about if Haas had first pick, who would they? And I think they went for Verstappen. And then you kind of reverse it, I suppose. Yeah, I guess it's one of them that we want to see. What I think is a shame with F1 is that I think broadly speaking we are seeing most of the best racing drivers in the world competing in Formula One. I know there's some who aren't there on merit, but I think broadly speaking, you've got that. But we don't get the opportunity, unlike in pretty much every other racing series, which is a spec series, to see actually who's kind of on one day, who comes out on top, who's the quickest. So not that I think F1 to change to a spec series at all. No, I think having that technical, car development side is hugely important to the DNA of the sport. But yeah, it's like a one-off. I think getting a draft where maybe see what Lewis could do in a Williams, see what Max are doing like a midfield car, see what Latifi would do in a Ferrari. That would be interesting.
Yeah, I'd be down for that, or at least very least, kind of what you were saying earlier. Stick them all in the same car. Have a race, make that set the grid for qualifying.
Yeah, use the spec F1 car that Ross Brawn designed, and boom.
Which I'm sure has an engine in it.
Yeah, definitely. Just stick an old EcoBoost. Boom.
Boom. Done. Good. Ross Brawn, don't call him right now. We're still doing the show. All right, let's have a think about this Fantasy GP part where you got to. How good are you at predicting F1? I see. You already had a crack at this season.
Oh God, here we go.
Don't worry, I'm not going to play it. Just a little freeze frame of where you sort of ended up. Good call on Ferrari, and I think everybody was surprised by Mercedes. So you can't be too sad.
Yeah, Alfa Romeo not looking too good at the minute, is it? I mean, Aston Martin, I thought I was quite spot on with Aston, and a lot of people got mad at me for that. So that made me feel quite good. But yeah, let's not talk about AlphaTauri or Alfa Romeo.
You didn't count for the Bottas effect.
True Bottas bias.
Okay, but we're 4 races deep now, so do you think you kind of got a handle on how things are going, apart from McLaren?
Yeah. No, I don't, to be honest. Because, I mean, there's so much talk of what we've got. How many weeks break is it between Miami and its next race is Spain, isn't it?
Yeah, we got a couple of weeks.
So I feel like we're going to see some very different cars, and there's a lot of talk of, our car in the wind tunnel is completely different to what you see on track. So there's a lot of room for people to jump up, but a lot of room for them to cock it up and all. So no, I'm not confident, Stuart. I'll be honest.
That's fine. Benefit for you is we're coming off the back of Elizabeth Blackstock's predictions, which look, you can approach this two ways. You can go super analytical on it and like think about it, or you can just go chaos and dreams. Elizabeth went chaos and dreams, picked entirely the wrong week to kick Verstappen and Red Bull off the squad. Kind of went all in on Ferrari. Hamilton didn't really show up, so not a lot of points. But I think we knew it was a chaotic shot. So she actually got third out of 4 because she came 9,400th. So her score was lower than Dre, but the overall score for everyone was a bit lower than Bahrain. Deanna still the person to beat.
Smashed it. Look at that.
Yeah. So I did introduce this concept of hard mode last episode, which is so Deanna and Dre kind of set up a very good team, which Peter didn't feel any need to change. So hard mode is just like if you want to make a change rather than... Although I feel like the squad you've been given, you probably do want to make a change. I also just need to correct a mistake I've been saying basically every episode. It's a 2-part mistake. Firstly, I said we only had a budget of 80 million when we have a budget of 85 million because I've got a pro elite account on Fantasy GP.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Which I had to get because it allows me to make changes every single race, which I need to do this program. But it also gives you an extra 5 million, which I think is fair because you have to do this at the beginning of the week, not after practice.
Okay, cool. Yeah, makes sense.
Everyone else gets to get the deadline of Saturday, so it's
just based off vibes. That's it. That's how I like to go.
And the other error I said was if you make changes to your team, they have to come in under budget of 80 million, which was completely wrong. You could just use the budget you have. So you can, you've got 87.5 million. I think you've also got 1 million in the bank. So you got 88.5 million. So you can sell and buy as long as you don't then go into debt. You're fine.
Okay. I'll be fine.
Hamilton has dropped now in value below Leclerc finally. They're very resistant. To kind of unpeg Hamilton a bit. And yet Ferrari has dropped a little bit on Red Bull. So yeah. So here we go. This is when you get to do whatever you want. I'll
clean up.
Just to remind you, your people are going to get points from what they score in the race, but your drivers will also and teams will get points from how many places they climb during the race, and if they beat their teammate in qualifying and stuff like that. So you've got a lot to think about. Okay, this is the team you've got. You could do whatever you want.
Interesting. Okay, so I think my first thing I want to do is so there's 3 cars and 3 drivers. Yeah. Nice. So obviously, sorry Lewis, but get out of here with your overly porpoising Mercedes, which is, I don't know how that's going to handle these long high speed corners at Miami. And I've got to put in Alex Albon because he's been demolishing his teammate and he's been recovering a lot of positions. I love that sprite. That's brilliant. He's been driving out of his skin, and that Williams is very quick in a straight line. Quickest car at Imola. So, I mean, maybe they just ran low wing, but who knows? It worked out perfectly. Okay, so...
Headline, Alexis... Hamilton out, Albon in. You didn't think you'd...
It's karma. It's payback. Okay, I'm still hurt by 2019 and 20. Right, okay, who else? I'll probably take Haas out.
Okay.
They seem to be fluctuating. And I will probably put in... I've got a bit of... Because I'm quite actually... And I'm going to take Gasly out as well.
Okay.
Can I take Gasly out?
You can take Gasly out.
That's all good. And in Gasly's, so I've got cash in the bank, 26.5 mil.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to put in,
Yeah.
Let's put in for now, Yuki Tsunoda.
Ooh. Okay.
because
Yep.
he outperformed Pierre last weekend. I was very impressed. So that's 21 mil left, and then how
This is
much?
quite good, actually. You've picked drivers who I think will make up positions as well, even if they don't start.
Yeah,
So you get some points there. I like your thinking.
because Yuki's struggled in qualifying, but typically he's done well in the race. I think he's bedding in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's see what other teams.
So you've got
21.
21 mil. You've
Oh, I've got to put Alfa Romeo in, definitely.
okay.
I think there's pace in that car, and then bin off McLaren, and
Okay.
let's see how much we've got. 27 mil. So Red Bull, boom, done.
There you go. Nice.
That's it.
With 3
I'm
million
happy
to
with that.
spare. Nice. That's some spending money for you.
Yeah,
That's good.
I'll take that.
I like that. Nicely juggled. Okay. Happy to save that.
Happy to save that.
There you
for
go.
it.
Locked in. And now, second part of this whole thing, predicting the Grand Prix weekend. So you got to do the podium, pole position, fastest lap, how many safety cars, and then where the highest Aston Martin will finish. Aston Martin, your specialist subject.
Okay, so first position, I'm going to say,
It's hard, isn't it?
I'm going to say Charles.
Okay. Any particular reason? Brand new track, quite hard to judge.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know it's high speed and Verstappen and the Red Bull seems to have had the edge, but I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. I just Charles Leclerc. I just think he can. He cocked up last weekend, but the vibes are back this weekend. Charles Leclerc P1, which then means it's Max Verstappen P2.
Obviously, yeah.
Isn't it? And then I'm gonna say he's got to be Carlos Sainz. He can't cock it up again. Surely
He needs it, doesn't
he does. He needs it desperately. He really does. But pole position, I think I'll go Max.
he? Ooh, nice.
So
All right. Outright speed, but then lose it at turn 1.
yeah, fastest lap Albon.
Oh,
Actually, no. Latifi fastest lap.
Okay. Don't know what shenanigans you're expecting, but sure.
No, actually, no, Albon, sorry. Because Albon's more likely to have slipstream because he's more likely to actually, be amongst other drivers. Sorry, Nicholas, but that's just the way it's gone so far this season. And then...
This is the tricky one. We know nothing.
This is... okay.
So VSC also counts.
Oh, okay.
Just, yeah.
I think we'll see at least 3. I mean, again, the walls are there.
Yeah.
Minimal kind of... Yeah, I'll stick with 3. Three safety cars.
Little bit of chaos. Here we go.
It's Aston Martin. I think Seb will do... I think he'll do a good job. I think I'm going to say P...
So you got options for this.
Okay.
You got top 7, 8th to 11th, 12th to worst, so that makes it a little easier.
Because I'm thinking like P11, but then that puts me right on the cusp of... I'm going to say 12th or worse, unfortunately, because they're really struggling with the porpoising, and I just feel like a high-speed track is going to punish that high-speed corners. So, yeah, I think kind of, P11 or 12. So
There are similarities to Jeddah in there as well, aren't there? So I think, you might be able to that. Okay, well, let's lock those in.
It's done.
Okay, just waiting for like some kind of tropical storm to wash over on the Saturday and just ruin everything. Nicely done. I got no faults with. Well, Albon is a real left field pick, but
look, I've got to embrace my delusion sometimes and just go full bias mode.
Why not? There we go. Cool. And that's it. That is you done and locked in, and then we'll find out. Well, in a week's time, less than a week's time, how you did.
I was.
Yes. And that's all I got for you. Thanks very much for coming on and doing that, and hopefully get me some more points. I've been let down a little bit so far. Deanna came in and held up the end. If people want to find all your stuff, I'll put a link in the description, but tell them anyway, where can they find you?
Just you can search Tommo, Tommo on YouTube, or Twommo F1 because Twitter Twommo makes sense somehow.
I thought it was like two Omo.
See, no one knows, but what can I say? Since I changed it, I've like over doubled in followers, so clearly
Wow.
it works.
Okay.
So there you go. It's mainly YouTube and Twitter that I'm on, so don't bother to follow me on anything else because that'd be weird.
Okay, fair enough. There you go. I'll put the link in the description. You can follow him. And next time we are going to Spain. So if you want to write in emails for Spain and TBC, who'll be joining me there, just send me an email, chainbear@gmail.com with Spain Takeover in the subject line. I do actually have an email address with my website, in it, but I can't make it work. So Gmail it is.
Good
cool.
old Gmail.
And there'll be more Fantasy GP in 2 weeks' time. Thanks very much, Tommo, for coming to join me.
Cheers for having me, Stuart. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Go see Tommo. Bye.